Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is the Q&A video. Got your questions here on me on my phone, so I'm just gonna start at the most liked one and work my way down. Alright? Okay, here we go. First question. What cars have you owned and what one was your favourite? Okay, so I'm gonna try to use my best editing skills and put them up here somewhere as I'm talking. And yeah, so for someone that's into cars, I probably haven't had that many cars, to be completely honest. My first car was a BMW 318 IS E36 coupe manual. I bought that car mainly because my father, who's probably watching this, wouldn't let me buy a rear-wheel drive Nissan because he owned paint panel shops, and all of his staff that had Sylvias and Skylines and whatnot didn't have licenses. They lost them all back in the day. They got picked on pretty hard, so that was a no-go. I'll try to put a photo in here somewhere of that. My second car was a E36 again. It was a purple, I don't know the colour code very well, but it was like a purple M3. It had the suede Vaders and some BBSs that Dad painted gold for me at his shop. So that was my second car. Somewhere in the mix as well, not that I really owned that car, it was my father's. I was driving a E30 MTEC 2 325 motorsport coupe for probably well over a year as I crashed the first E36 that I had. So another photo. That thing was fucking sick. I should have brought that, but I didn't. I pissed around. I wanted a Nissan. What was that? Yeah, so not counting the E30, we're up to the third car. My third car was an E46, a 330 factory manual, individually spec'd coupe as well. As you guys will soon realise, all my cars have been coupes. I love two doors, all been manual. I had that thing for maybe 18 months. Slammed on some Style 95s and some coilovers. I did an angel eye conversion and blacked everything out. I had a motorsport kit to go on it, but I never got around to putting it on before I sold the car. Sold that, and I ended up with my 180. So my 180 is probably my favourite car that I've had. Mainly because it was like my first car that I like fully modified. Definitely 100% my favourite shape in an S chassis. I love S15s, they'll probably be my second most favourite, but the 180 is just so cool. I love the pop-up and the hatchback combination. It's just, yeah, ideal for me. I like that the most. I had that for 18 months as well, probably, maybe 2 years, and just as I had finished debt swapping it, I'll add some more photos to this as well of some of the stuff I did to that car. That got crashed into, got rear-ended, and it was only insured as a non-turbo. It wasn't certified or anything yet, so insurance didn't pay me out very much money for that, so I had to part it out and made enough money pretty much to buy this. So this is my final car, my S15. This is probably coming up to be the most favourite car that I've owned. Not that I've driven it since doing all the engine work, obviously, because it blew up on the dyno. But yeah, now that I've got some man hours in this thing, and it's definitely a lot better to drive and a lot nicer to drive than the 180 was. It's just, yeah, 180s will always be my favourite shape. Next question. Opinions on Nissan Zs and Skylines. Going off your Instagram name, I'm assuming you mean Z32s, so I'll talk a little bit about them first. So 300ZXs, as we call them in New Zealand. I think you're from New Zealand. Hold on, have a quick look. Yeah, so 300ZX or Z32 is the chassis code, I'm pretty sure. Z33 is 350Z. I've driven 350Zs, I've never driven a 300ZX. To be honest, to me, this is just my personal opinion. I hope this doesn't offend you. They're not the most appealing car to look at. They have grown on me a lot over the last couple of years. But yeah, I've never really driven one, I've never really looked into one. But for the price that you can buy for them here for, they're probably a really good way to get into a real drive Nissan with some good parts. They've got good gearboxes, good brakes, The 2-seater ones are definitely way cooler than the 2+2s in my opinion, but they're both pretty cool with some tasteful mods. So yeah, cool cars. As the 350Zs, I reckon they are obviously a really popular car in America and stuff like that for drifting. A lot of people kind of sleep on them here, but I can kind of see why they would become popular. They're quite expensive here because there's not many of them that came to New Zealand compared to the States and stuff like that. But yeah, cool cars. Not something that I would own personally, but yeah, cool car. Skylines. I love Skylines, R32s, R33s, R34s. I don't dislike any of them. I reckon all of them done right are awesome. I haven't owned one purely because they've been quite expensive. To find a good Skyline, you're looking at the same money to buy a Silvia, and I'd rather own a Silvia over a Skyline, in my opinion. So that's why, obviously, if I was to buy a Skyline, I would try and buy a GTR. But GTRs here are very expensive and very much out of my price range. Also, 6 cylinders is just more injectors, bigger fuel pumps, bigger turbos, just more expensive. And I'm trying to mod some cars and not use every single dollar that I have, so this is a better option for me. Question from Mr. Empson himself: why the S15? To be honest, when I brought this S15, straight after my 180 got crashed into, I didn't even want an S15, I wasn't even looking at S15s. Jackie Yang, some of you guys might know him as Wizard on Instagram, had one, and I loved it, but I wasn't really into them. And then when he found out about my car, he started linking me a few Silvias that he thought were, good condition and whatnot. He linked me this one, and it was just around the road from where I lived, so I was like, why not, we'll go have a look. Went and had a look, took my old man, and he was surprised with how clean the chassis and everything was, and it was low Ks too, and for the price I just really couldn't buy anything better, so I just sucked it up and this is what I brought. If I had it my way, I would have brought an S13 or a 180 S6, but just way too hard to find a rust-free, tidy one of those. So I've got a couple of questions here that kind of lead into each other, so I'll just name them all out now and then we'll kind of talk about them. One is, what do I do for a living? And then another one is career history and run through of previous cars. So I've already answered the previous cars. Career history, I'll go through and what I do now, and any future cars you'd love to own. I've also got one that's dream whip. So I'll start off with what I do for a living. I'm currently an apprentice mechanic, so I've been at auto super shops for 2, maybe 3 years now. Must be coming up 3 years. Before that, I was doing a thing called smart car repair in Hamilton, so basically learning how to do paintless dent removal, wheel CNCing, like fixing curbing and stuff like that, and a bit of painting, which is where I learned to do some chroming and stuff like that. If you guys have seen any of my old cars with chrome wheels, that's where I learned to do some of that stuff. That kind of fell through, that's why I became a mechanic. And before that I was just doing trade labouring and stuff like that, like house painting and building and whatnot. So yeah, this is like my first real sort of trade or career that I've done and like followed through with since leaving high school. Dream car or future cars I'd love to own. This is a tough question. A lot of people ask me this, but I never really thought too much into what would be a dream car because I want so many multiples of cars. None of them are really that expensive. Like, I'm not really into Ferraris or Lamborghinis or anything. I do quite like the old air-cooled Porsches, but very, very expensive. So right now that's definitely not in my focus. If anything, I would love to own another 180 and basically have that as a track car. I want to keep this and do a little bit of track in this just to learn it, but if I start realizing that this thing is getting pretty thrashed from taking it on the track, then I'll probably retire it and try my best to build something else to track, because I'd love to do some drifting and get a bit of driving content for you guys. So it would either be a C33 Lorel with an SR20, as much as you guys probably want to see me do something else, I reckon that'd be a cool combo, or a 186 Type X or Type X style, like hot rod or something. 180 would be my other car that I would have. And hopefully in between there we might experiment with some other things that I'll probably just use as my daily, like the BMW or an Altezza or something. I don't know, I don't want to make any promises to you guys, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm really into, so that would probably be my probably my dream or future cars that I'd like to own in sort of the next 5-10 years. Got a question here, would you ever own a Rotary or an RB? So touched the base a little bit on the RBs. I reckon they're pretty gangster. I'd love to own the GR like I was saying, just super expensive, and right now I can't really financially afford it. Rotaries are a bit the same. My sister had an FD for a while and I drove it back from Hamilton for her, and the way that they handle, and like people say they're not talky, but the way that car sort of drove, it felt like really nice, so I quite enjoyed driving that car. So yeah, I definitely would own one, but yeah, I'm still not anytime soon. Like I was saying, it's very expensive, so I prefer to stick with what I have at the moment and just finish this, because it's basically got everything done to it that it needs to be a good street slash very beginner track car, which is perfect for me. So I'm just gonna hold on to this one. So I got a couple of non-questions that were just comments, but they're kind of funny. So I got one from Mr. Joseph that says, do a skid Mr. Drifter. We all know that he is the drifter. Well, you guys probably don't know, because I know. But before this whole YouTube thing, me and Nick used to thrash his bloody plus TS14 like there was no tomorrow. Obviously I'm not going to post videos of that in here because people have been getting in trouble lately in New Zealand for doing that, like Mayhem Inc. and a few other pages on Facebook. So I'm not going to post any videos to get Nick in trouble. But yeah, did some pretty hectic skids in that car. I'm hoping that he buys another one so he can come do some hectic skids on YouTube legally with us at the track, and Willie K and Dan and all that kind of thing. So everybody go tell Nick that he needs to hurry up and stop being a pussy and buy a car. Another one is from Mr. Guy Mad Maxwell. The choice files, I'll try to use my best editing skills to put him in here somewhere. He said, just whenever we can have an event next, because obviously COVID-19, you gotta come and you drive Big Bird. So you guys go check out his thing again, the choice files, and see who Big Bird is. Yep, I would love to do that, guy. If this thing is going, we'll do a little swap. We can see what you reckon of the SR, and I'll have a wee thrash in the RB. Do a little comparison, eh? Might be interesting for the viewers. I think you might end up liking these annoying rowdy SRs, and I might start liking RBs, but will we swap? Who knows? So that's all the questions that I got on Instagram, which I'm fine with. Keeps it nice and short for you guys. I don't want to have a 45-minute long video on my boring life. But thanks for watching as always. Hopefully some parts get delivered. We're like week 2 going into week 3 of lockdown right now, so I'm not very hopeful at this stage because I ordered them a wee while ago. But if they do, then I'll have some more content. If not, then I'm sorry, 2 weeks and no videos. I'll try my best to get something out. Peace.